I'm Dr. Derek Alessi, author of Lose Fat Forever, the Bermuda Triangle Diet, and Cooking with Gold. I want to talk about something that maybe you've seen on the headlines. The New York Times, the Boston Globe, the CDC, the World Health Organization, and more. They're talking about the links of coronavirus, but a little bit different than you think, how it's affecting some people that we didn't think about earlier, and that was the young. Now, initially when coronavirus and COVID-19 came onto the scene, we thought initially it was a disease that was more likely to impact and affect older people. In fact, we were told people that had compromised immune systems, people with comorbidities, or older people in general would be more exposed, and that still is true. But what some of this newer research is showing is that there is another link. See, for a long time, we thought if you were younger, you were fine and there's very little chance you're going to have coronavirus or increased risk of it. But we're finding that's not the case. So the CDC, World Health Organization, and others look deeper into it, and this is what they found. When you factor out age, the biggest risk for having coronavirus or COVID-19 is obesity, especially obesity as it relates to diabetes. When that happens, your body system is compromised. Your immune system is not going to work properly. You're not going to be able to handle these viruses and foreign invaders, and because of it, you're going to be much more likely to have problems. So the CDC did a lot of research on that, and the World Obesity Federation also took a look at it, and they showed the correlation of how obesity-related conditions worsens the effect of COVID-19. So if the thought or belief that many have is that most of us have been exposed in some way, shape, or form, some are showing symptoms, some are asymptomatic, but the real effect or what makes it worse is if you have obesity, because once again, the compromised vessel or immune system that's most likely to happen from that. Now, if you haven't been exposed, and some people don't believe they have been exposed, and I'm not here to debate that, but there is a chance that you could possibly be exposed, of course, again in the future. As the world opens up and the economy opens back up again for business, you're going to run into people. There's going to be some times in which you're going to have to mix and mingle somewhat. I don't think we could stay in a protective bubble forever. That's not realistic. But at the same time, I don't think we could live with just being in a medical suit all the time with gloves and a mask and a respirator and a shield. I think sooner or later your immune system is going to have to take over, and it always has. Don't let that scare you so much. Each and every year you're exposed to billions of bacteria. Each and every year you're exposed to the flu and influenza. Maybe you've had the flu before, maybe you haven't. If you have, you don't like it, it's not pleasant, and I don't think you should go through that experience again. But most of the time you don't necessarily have it because you have a functioning immune system. Now, I do understand COVID-19 is 6 to 10 times more contagious than the flu, and that's what makes it so scary, and that's the reason why your immune system has to be even stronger. There's something I want to show you from the study done by the New York Times. Obesity may be the most important predictor of severe coronavirus illness, once again, the new study says. And it's alarming to find in the United States because we have the highest levels of obesity. 42% of the adult population in the U.S. is considered obese. When you take in pre-diabetes, diabetes, obesity, lump them all together, you have upwards of 80% of the entire population. So when looking at this even further, trying to find out why the United States had the highest levels so far. We thought initially this was something just in Asia. We thought then it was something just in Italy. Maybe it's because there's more density of those places. There's an older population in those places. It doesn't seem to be the case. The U.S. does not have the most density. The U.S. does not have the oldest population. The U.S. has the most expansive and most expensive health care. And at the same time, the highest level of coronavirus illness and death, because a lot of research is saying this now, because we have the highest level of obesity. And the surprising factor is younger persons, as I was mentioning earlier. Younger individuals, once again, we thought had very unlikely or a very low chance of contracting coronavirus. Turns out that's not the case if you factor in obesity and then secondly, diabetes. Combine them both together and you have a very strong and increased chance of developing coronavirus as well as other problems too. Now, what does all of this mean? Yes, it's telling us a story, or at least explaining why some of this might be a problem, but at the same time, let's talk about how we could use this information. Look, it's very difficult to change your age. I understand that. In fact, the goal is really to get older, but there's a lot of other things that can be changed as well, though. When it comes to body fat and obesity, and I know a lot of people come to see me because they want to lose weight and they want to drop body fat. In fact, for the first stage of my career, that's all I worked on. And then the second stage, we added in a lot of the diabetes, heart disease, dementia aspect of it. When it comes to your immune system, it's both of those stages combined. Some experts, and the CDC is one of them, is predicting that there could be a rebound effect of this coronavirus, that it could come back later in the year and it might even be stronger than it was the first time, which is terrifying. Now, I think that there's a good chance that could happen, or it could be something else in the future. Once again, when you look into yourself and how we could use this information as this, is there's always going to be things. In fact, there's always going to be things that are going to hurt your lifestyle, hurt your longevity, and potentially shorten your life and the quality of your life. What you can do, of course, is to do your part. Now, I understand that good things could happen even to bad people. In fact, you might say, well, what's the use? I could always just walk out and get in a car accident. And that's true. But you have an increased chance of getting in a car accident if you're reckless. Same thing with your health. If you're reckless with your health, if you're not doing your exercise, if you're not eating properly, if you're not managing it, if you're not being consistent with it and faithful to it, same type of thing, you're being more reckless, which increases your chances of having something bad happen. So what you can do going forward, of course, is to do the right things. In fact, my message to you is there's a lot you can do to protect yourself. Number one, stay very consistent with your exercise. I know it's easy to say that, but harder to do. You have to commit to doing it, commit to yourself, commit to others, commit to even people like myself and my team. By doing that, you're going to be more faithful to pulling it all off. When it comes to nutrition, huge topic, I understand. But when it comes to nutrition, if you're eating the right foods, lower glycemic index. Once again, we talked about the huge effects of diabetes. The problem with diabetes is it's a disease of the vessel walls. It makes your blood vessels themselves be compromised and get destroyed, and because of it, then the organs. Your body can't fight them. It can't fight off these foreign invaders that seem to be on the top of everybody's mind, and potentially more so in the future. Blood sugar is super important. Insulin, we need to keep it low. Nutrition has to be on point. Perfect? No. Nobody has to be perfect. We just have to be good and progress to getting better. This is something that we want to have as a mindset. Number three, we have to do it consistently. We don't want to just brush and floss on it before you see the dentist. If you want to keep your teeth, you have to do it all the time. I tell people that because it's the same analogy. It's not something that you can just do because you're worried about the coronavirus right now. It could be something again potentially in the future. In fact, it will be something potentially again in the future. This is something that you can control with the right mindset, with the right framework, with the right commitment to being faithful to yourself in order for your long-term health. It's in your own best interest. So hopefully today this video served you. I'm Dr. Alessi, asking you to make the most of your life and live it fit.